Hey guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. The last Battlefield game I played was Battlefield 2 all the way back in 2005. The series has been full of ups and downs since then, and my hardware was always lagging behind the requirements of the latest titles until now. So I can't tell you exactly how Battlefield 6 compares with the last couple years of the franchise, but I can tell you Battlefield 6 is looking pretty good. For starters, it seems the devs actually put in the effort to make the game fit in just under 40 gigabytes of hard drive space, which is a welcome change from the unexplainable triple-digit sizes we've been seeing from the AAA gaming industry recently. The game also seems decently optimized, and I'm happy to report that it has not crashed, freeze, disconnected, or stuttered even once, and I rarely saw any bugs aside from a couple of barely noticeable visual glitches. You could say that the first open beta weekend of Battlefield 6 is already better than the last 4 years of Battlefield 2042. And it's looking like EA is really going to have a massive win on their hands with this one because finally, freaking finally, you can get your hands on an online shooter that actually feels like you're playing a real first-person shooter for grown-ass adults. Finally, we have a modern military shooter that isn't trying to appeal to children and Fortnite players with random brain rot skins and neon pink weapons and stupid emotes. And the developers themselves have said that they don't plan on adding any of that crap post-launch. This decision alone is probably going to bring back so many of the old Battlefield and COD fans who have been ignored and pushed away for years now in favor of appealing to the elusive modern audience, which always seems to leave their favorite game companies holding the bag. But when these old fans finally come back, they're gonna find a solid, gritty, detailed, good-looking, smooth, but beautifully chaotic, modern military shooter that makes you feel like you've traveled 15 years back in time, but in a good way. Battlefield 6 comes with your trusty 4 classes: Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon. Each of these classes has some passive bonuses and special tools that make them better at certain things, but unlike in the older games, classes are now much more flexible and versatile. One example of this is how any class can now equip any type of weapon. This is a recurring feature from the more recent games, and according to EA, most players actually enjoy not having weapon restrictions for classes. I personally had no problems with this and was playing Recon with assault rifles and Engineer with carbines all the time. Thank you very much, please don't judge me. Weapon customization is also pretty nice. Some attachments have more variety than others, but overall there's a decent amount of stuff to unlock and play around with. Once you queue up, there are 3 maps available in the first weekend of the open beta: Siege of Cairo, Liberation Peak, and Iberian Offensive. Cairo and Iberian both support ground vehicles, and Liberation Peak is the only map that supports helicopters and jets so far. One thing that many people will be somewhat disappointed with is the fact that there are no real big maps in the current beta. The only map that feels closer to the proper Battlefield experience is Liberation Peak. Every other map feels like you're just playing a slightly more chaotic match of Call of Duty. If I had to rank the maps, I would say Liberation Peak is number 1, followed by Iberian Offensive, and lastly Siege of Cairo. Iberian is slightly above average, but Cairo has one especially annoying issue where people have figured out how to climb up on the rooftops, and these buildings are very strategically positioned around the central area of the map in a way that makes anybody who's able to climb up on there really overpowered and really hard to kill as well. So people climb up on the roofs and they completely break the whole match, and it's kind of dumb and completely ruins your match entirely. Hopefully all of this stuff is going to be fixed in the full release, since these are not complicated problems, and I hope to see much bigger maps in the full game as well. But for that, we're going to have to wait a little while. Now let's get down into the details. The gunplay is great. Weapons feel punchy, hit registration is solid, hit feedback is good. I knew where I was being shot from, and I didn't feel any sort of latency issues or desync during fights at any point. Playing with the different classes is very fun. Like I said before, classes are more versatile now, so you rarely feel useless even when your class's abilities aren't immediately needed. Another big change that was done to classes aside from having access to all weapons is the fact that every player can now drag fallen allies to safety and revive them. That's right, reviving teammates is no longer a task exclusive to the medic, but reviving allies does take a while if you're not a medic, so it's still well balanced. I think this new mechanic is amazing, not only because it looks badass when you're doing it, but because it also gives random players an extra way that they can contribute in the battlefield. Unfortunately, many people are either new to this style of game or they're not fully aware of these new healing and reviving mechanics yet, because you will be constantly ignored by large groups of teammates when you're down on the ground asking for a medic, and without a single enemy in sight, people will just ignore you and move on, and you'll just have to tap out and respawn. It's kind of frustrating, but hey, it's still not as ridiculous as when a medic walks right by you while your character is screaming for help and does nothing. But I'm going to stop complaining now because I want to talk about how the devs have absolutely nailed the trademark of the Battlefield series: the atmosphere, the destruction, and the chaos. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I haven't played a Battlefield for decades. The last few Battlefield games, haven't touched them. And apparently there's not going to be any of like the dynamic weather features and the Levolution systems that were in these games. But goddamn, the destruction in this game is still awesome. In the first few moments of the match, you're walking through towns and villages and everything looks completely fine, but by the end of the match, the map looks like a real war zone, and it can completely change the way you move and fight around certain areas, because many parts of the map actually change in a big way. It's not just cosmetic, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen in other online shooters. But the best part is when you have that Battlefield experience when you're in a building and the room you're in gets hit with a tank round or an RPG or something, and suddenly this 3-story building transforms into a parking lot and you emerge somewhere in the middle of it trying to figure out what just happened. This is the Battlefield 6 experience. You're in a gunfight, bullets cracking over your head, debris flying everywhere, people screaming for medics. RPG hits the building right in front of you and a bunch of rubble starts falling on you. It's really fun, really immersive, and it's a very engaging experience. Immersion, especially, is a thing I haven't felt in an online game for a long time, because of all these battle pass stuff, skins, and product placement that goes into these games nowadays. But I think the developers actually learned this time. I think I can join the crowd and happily say that Battlefield 6 is back. Battlefield might be back as a franchise, or at least it's on the right track. We have to wait and see about the other maps and how the roadmap for the game's lifetime is going to be, what kind of content's going to be coming over the next few years. But regardless, I've never bought a single $70 game, €70 game so far, but Battlefield 6 might be the first. I haven't had fun with an online shooter like this since like the beta for Overwatch almost like 10 years ago. And if you've been keeping an eye on Battlefield 6, I can safely say that you're going to have some fun with it. The game is good, and if they can get rid of the rooftop campers in Cairo, then it's going to be even better. And that's it for the video, guys. Just wanted to leave a quick first impressions, first-hand opinion on the Battlefield 6 open beta. I haven't been a part of a game like this for decades, and it seems like I might be going back in. Leave a like and a sub if you've made it this far, and I'll see you on the battlefield. But remember, no pre-orders.